So this is live. This is live with Connie's real emails. I was talking to Jesse about this. I just figured this is the easiest way to show you. I could give you demo fake stuff, but yeah, let's do real. So I'm going to start by talking about sorting your email, how your email can look so you can get through it faster. We're going to talk about cleanup. We're going to talk about organizing, and we'll get a little bit into searches and some quick tips. So all that in 25 minutes. So there's the challenge. So I'm going to start with sorting. And I should pre-frame this with the thought with this here, and that is the fact that these are Connie's opinions and suggestions based on 30 years of training, many years with clients and what they've encountered and what I've seen. So don't take anything personal. If I say something, you're like, oh, I don't know why she said that. Just ignore it. You don't have to do anything I say, but hopefully there'll be something in here that you go, okay, I like that idea. So I am quite direct with what I'm going to say. So there's my little waiver. Do we need them to sign anything, Jesse? But I don't know. So you guys have all signed that. So to start with, in Outlook, this is one of my biggest pet peeves is this view right here. I think this is a big waste of our space because we had this tiny little area to look at our emails, look at what came in, find the email we're looking for. And we had this huge area for whatever is on top, whatever we're clicked on, to just preview that one thing. So preview is fine, but I don't need it to be assuming that I want to preview whatever the last thing that came in on my email was, or whatever the last thing I clicked on was. So I'm going to suggest right off the bat here that we minimize that preview area unless we really need it. And so minimizing it means we're taking this little line between preview and the email, and we're just dragging it out. And so that we have more room to see the actual, who is it from? Is there attachments? What's the subject? When did I get it? You know, size and other stuff. So we can even build more columns here if we want to. Now, if you're really brave, I don't find that everybody in my classes usually is this brave, but some of them are. You can just get rid of the reading pane altogether because I like to joke that it is really a pain. I can read it when I'm ready to read it. I don't have to read it right now. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go to the view ribbon at the top here and choose from there reading pane. So kind of way over on the right here. So hopefully you guys can follow my mouse. Oh, I should be using that fancy mouse, shouldn't I? I forgot to put that one on. Here, this one. Okay, reading pane. And then I'm going to turn it off. Oh no, don't know what they said. No, that's okay, right? So when we're looking at email management and how to work through our emails better, we should be looking at, okay, what are my priorities here? And quickly glance, okay, this email that came in, there was one here from Jesse, but maybe I got rid of it already, Jesse. I'm very fast at my deleting and organizing, filing or doing whatever else it needs to do with my emails. But I left a bunch of stuff in here so I could show you some examples, right? But if I needed to see what was in an email, all I have to do is double click on it. And the nice thing about doing it that way is now I'm looking at only this email and not distracted with whatever else is in my list, right? Now I'm focused on this email. I can scroll through it, read it, find out what it's about, maybe make some decisions on it. Because I don't know about you, but I've gotten some emails back from people and they've asked me questions and I'm like, did you read my second sentence in my email or my second paragraph? Because it doesn't look like you did based on your response. So, that's something to keep in mind. Sometimes we're just so distracted by what's on our screen that we don't take full advantage of what's in front of us. So that's why I challenge you to do maybe look at doing it this way, see if it helps you. So that's one tip. The other one here is I've got all these columns showing, and one of the other reasons I really like having these columns showing is it lets me sort my data in different ways. And from there, I can make choices as to how I file things, if I need to delete things, if I want to put some order on stuff. So what I mean by that is right now I'm sorted on my received. So obviously I want to know what came in recently, but you know, if I'm looking at this email for a little while, I might decide, you know what, I'm going to sort based on who it's from. So I can just go to the from box. And I know there's more than one way of doing this, believe me. There's definitely more options here, but by doing it this way, you're seeing stuff together a little bit more easily, right? So you're seeing stuff maybe from the same group of people together, and it just makes it faster for you to find something. Maybe I don't remember Jesse's name. I just met him and it was like, was it Jess or Jesse or what was his name? Jacob. So I know it's a J, and so I'm scrolling down and I can look for the J's. And actually, I don't even have to scroll. When I sort something, I can just type in the letter and that will go immediately to that name. So there you go. Jesse's not in my, oh yeah, Jesse is in my list here. But it went to Jacob first. So I could go J-E for Jesse. Oh, still not enough, J-E-S. So, I mean, I don't have to keep typing, but if you are going to keep typing to find something, then that's how quick it is. So it is a really neat search. And again, I know you guys, you're saying, well, Connie, I like to search up here. But when you search up here, you are saying, I know exactly what I'm searching for, at least the beginning of it or some part of it. And I only want to see that. Whereas this lets me see a bit more because maybe I was wrong. Maybe I want to see a bit more. So it lets me see everything at once. Just another perspective on it. Maybe that can help you. So one of the things I can do with this though, is I can say, okay, all these emails from Joanne, I can file those. I know I want to keep these ones, but I don't need them in my inbox anymore. I've already dealt with them. So I can take Joanne's name, which is what it's kind of grouped by. See this grouping line here, and I can drag this over to one of my folders here. So now I don't have to select anything. I just grabbed her name, which is what it was grouped by, and dragged it over. And so it put it into this folder. So another thing I'm going to show you is something here called categories. I love categories because, as you can see, I've got 3 subfolders and no subfolders underneath that. How many do you have? Because do you need hundreds of subfolders, or can you group in some other way? And so categories is a way for you to kind of create that second grouping, if you will. And so here I'm actually writing a book on OneNote. So I have a lot of emails from my publisher and all these other people, and these are coming in all the time. So I can take all these emails from them and drag it over for the book. So I'm grabbing book, 13 items, and it's all now in business. So I can go find it in business. I've got a lot of stuff in there. There's way more than 70 emails in business, but I can find things fast because I can use this same sorting mechanism in that folder. So what do you think about that? Are you guys, so Jesse's saying he's using categories. Anybody else using categories? What do you think about the sorting idea?
I just want to say,
we're clicking on the columns. Yeah.
Yeah. So the categories for everyone on the call, in my inbox, every time an email comes in, I give it a category, and I am looking at groups. So I have, is this something administrative? Is it client facing? Is it marketing? Is it a vendor? And then if I'm going to spend time this afternoon, interacting with clients, the only category that I have expanded is my client emails. So I'm not distracted by my bank sending me something, because that's not important right now.
Yeah. Okay. Let's just elaborate on that for a tiny bit. So I'll get into how to make these in a second. So don't worry. We'll get into that in case some of you haven't done this. But just in terms of expanding. So if you have this view, like everything's kind of open for you to look at. And if you want to focus in on that one thing that Jesse's talking about, in the view menu. So view is all about, what am I seeing on my screen? Let's get some control over how you view your information, because that can help you get a bit more control over those emails. So I'm going to go to view and expand collapse and say collapse all, and then customer requests. I'll just open that one up. And so that's kind of what Jesse's talking about, just looking at that one thing. And of course I can go back here and say expand all if I want to as well. But another thing that I should mention at this point before we get into the categorizing is that, categorizing is great. I mean, whether you categorize or not is totally up to you. If you do it right off the bat as they come in, or if you only categorize maybe certain things. So I'm going to take a different take on this than maybe what Jesse's mentioned. And that is, maybe there's just, you get lots of emails back and forth from people within the office or business, but those customers that, or that one person or that one topic that's really, really important for you not to miss, that is the one you want to make sure you categorize. Because I don't know about you, but flagging is something that I see lots of people doing. But the trouble with flagging is if we flag too much, we don't know anymore where the important flags are. But if you give a category to something, you've now named it in a way that helps you find it and understand what it's about. So rather than I'm not saying you can't flag, we'll talk about that after, but I think categories gives you a bit of definition around it and a bit of control around what you're doing with it too. And then after I'm done with all of these guys, I again would just drag them over to a folder and file them, or I can delete them. I mean, we shouldn't be against deleting. Deleting is okay. Okay, so let's get on with how to flag things, or sorry, categorize things. I'm going to expand everything again. So I purposely left a bunch that weren't categorized. There's a couple of reasons for that, so I have to be careful not to categorize the wrong ones, because I need some undone. Let's put it that way. So WCB. So let's say I want to put a category on this email because I want to keep it. Not technically, I would not. So I hope you're not on from WCB, but I read it and then I'm done with it. Because if I wanted to look up information about WCB, I could just go on their website. I don't need to keep that forever. But if I wanted to categorize it and keep it, then I can, because I have the category column showing here, I can simply right click and I can pick a category that I've already made, or I can go to the very bottom where it says all categories and make up a new one. So make up a new one and then color code it, right? So I wouldn't call it WCB. I would probably call it, oh, I don't know. Maybe I have accounting already. What would be another one? Government? I don't know. And they're not government, but can I say government or large institution? Okay, hope I'm not saying this wrong. And let's pick a little color for it. Okay, so it disappeared because right now I'm sorted by categories. So let me just show you where it went. So it's showing up here now. Okay, once I have the categories in place, I could actually say, okay, this is all accounting. Oh, that's an accounting thing. Let me move that over here. I can drag things into my category. See how that works? So that's kind of cool too. I don't have to right click. I can also drag it. So if you don't right click over here, you could right click on the message itself and categorize is available there. And one more place, there's more than one place for everything, you guys. So I'll just show you another place. If I go back to my home ribbon, categorize is on your home ribbon as well. So there is no limit how many categories you can have, and you can categorize one thing with multiple categories. And the beauty of that is, what did I put under accounting, or did I put under the US stuff? You know, was it about the book or was it about marketing? You know, so I could have something might fit into two places, and that's where folders does not work, right? And the thing about folders is I have to keep clicking and clicking and clicking to find the right folder, because I got to go 5 folders deep, right? Whereas categories, I click once on business, then I sort by categories, and I can see, you know, what my divisions are just easily on the screen. So hopefully these are tips that are helping you. What are you guys thinking? Is this something that you can do? Just give me some notes in the comments, so I know I'm not just talking to Jesse. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the beyond the categories. We're going to talk a little bit about cleanup. So getting some of the emails that maybe you don't need, maybe you're going back and forth with your emails to, you know, people that you're talking to throughout the day or maybe throughout the week, and you got conversations going. There is an option right beside the delete button that's called cleanup. And I find people don't see it because it's a really small button. And unless you click on it, you don't even see the words. You might see it. Some screens are different than mine, but cleanup is a way for you to say, wherever I have a conversation back and forth, I don't need all the extra parts of it. I only need the last conversation. And so you can do that kind of cleanup on an entire folder or on an entire folder and subfolders if you want. Or as you see here, I could just clean up one conversation if I want. I'm going to do it for my folder. I don't have a lot of conversations because I'm pretty fast at cleaning up stuff, but I kept a couple in here on purpose so that you guys could see how this works. So 74 is my number right now. If I go clean up folder, let's see what happens. So it's giving me a message that is saying, hey, I'm taking all these redundant messages that you don't need because they're just back and forth, and I'm going to take them and throw them into your deleted items folder. So they're not really 100% gone. But otherwise, and I could change that if I wanted to, but I'm going to let it go to deleted items. So I'm going to say, clean up this folder. And I went to 68. So it got rid of 6 messages. I've seen people do this in the class with me, but just realize it will take some time. So if you have thousands of emails in your inbox, cleanup could get rid of 10% of them, might even get rid of more. I mean, I don't know what you do with your email and how back and forth you go. But one thing it won't take is it won't take anything with an attachment, or if you categorize. So in Jesse's case, if he categorizes everything, it won't clean up, because as soon as you categorize it, you say, keep this. You're kind of saying, I want this. And I'm tagging this for this reason. So that's why I didn't categorize a few, just to make sure that this worked for sure for us. And what's the other scenario? I think it's the attachments, the categorizing, and if you change something about the email. So talking about changing something, let's just go in here. I'll pick that St. Albert one again. Have you ever got an email from somebody and you went, why? And I'm not saying this is an example of this, but let's say you got an email from somebody and they're like, what is their subject line telling me about the email they sent me? Their subject line doesn't line up at all with what the email is about. If we went with pet peeves or Connie, that would be another one, right? It's just like, I have to have this email should tell me, the subject line should tell me what's in it. So I will go and change the subject line. It's my email now. You sent it to me. It's my property. I will change it. You can, and so I don't really care about your conversation going back and forth, whether on your end you're getting a different subject line or not. Sorry, I shouldn't be so mean to say that, but I want to organize my emails and find them faster. So I'm making sure my subject lines really speak to what's in the email. So I will highlight that subject here, and then I'll just say whatever it is. This one's good, but chamber, not that I don't know who it's from. And once I just close this email, it'll ask me if I want to save this message, and I'll say, yep. And now I've just changed that subject line. So if I reply to them now, they're going to get the reply with my new subject line. Okay, so I kind of like that one as well for just keeping things in order for me, keeping it under control. But now, as far as control, we talked about cleanup. Let's talk a little bit about your deleted items. So how good are you at deleting your deleted items? So if you were to click there right now, Jesse's like, no. Are you saying no, don't do it? So
I'm saying that my staff have given me a hard time, because I think that the deleted items is a storage container for the things that have been completed. And they're like, no. You are the pet peeve number 3. People that treat their garbage like storage. So if I was in a real class, I'd be showing you my garbage can right now, and I'd be saying, would you file in here? Like, do you keep this? Am I going to go, oh, there's the paper I wanted? No. I do use the shift delete to permanently delete garbage.
Okay. Okay. Well, we're going to challenge you and everybody else to say, if you want to, here's the rhyme. If you want to keep it, don't delete it. If you're ready to let it go forever and ever, then let it go. Because otherwise, when you're searching for stuff, when you're looking at how much storage I know there's lots of storage nowadays and with mailboxes, but when you're searching and doing other things, it is slowing it down. I know you might think, search is fast, but yeah, it was fast. It brought up 100 entries for you. So now have fun finding your email because you got a whole bunch of garbage in between all that. So we don't want to keep the garbage if we don't have to. So I'm going to challenge you guys to delete more often. I delete every time I look at my deleted items. I take a peek at it. I don't want any of that stuff because the first time I deleted, I really didn't want it. So at the end of the day, it's always empty. And throughout the day, it's always empty because I do not want to keep garbage. But that's a Connie opinion. Take it or leave it. We'll find out from Jesse next class whether he took it or not, but it's worth trying. If you have thousands and thousands and thousands of things in there, I had one client that had 70,000 emails in his deleted items, and I nearly had a heart attack. But to his defense, he said he never looked there. And I'm like, I'm surprised your IT company, your IT person wasn't hunting you down by now. But yeah. So he did delete it. He emptied that deleted items in that class, or at least by the end of the class. He says, I don't need it. I just didn't even realize to look there. So let's look there and let's get some control over that. Let's organize in a different way. So we talked about categories. You saw how that can work. I want to show you how the search can help you within categories. So I'm just going to go to just put my email in the regular received order here. And I'm going to go up to the search menu, and I'm not going to type anything, but I want you to notice that I now have a search toolbar. How many of you guys are using this search toolbar? Because one of the things on it is categorized, right? So if I go to categorize, and let's say I want to find, I wonder what I put under test. Let's see what test brings up. Okay, nothing. I probably deleted it already. Categorized test has nothing. Let's change something else. So I'll go search. So we know there's customer requests. If I go search customer requests, it says current mailbox is what it's searching, which means it's looking in the Connie at Mission Computers mailbox. It's looking in my inbox and all of my subfolders. And so it's showing me all the customer requests that it found. So it's a lot longer than what was just in my inbox, right? And so that's kind of worth noting. I can also go further with this, and I can say, well, how many of them are flagged? So let's go to customer requests that are flagged. So now I'm kind of doing two things. I forget if I flagged any. Yeah, there's a few that are flagged. Okay, one from Jesse. Okay, and then I could also go, well, which of them were, there should be a date one. Where is my date one? Actually, let's just do which one has attachments. So which one has attachments? So you've got all these parameters, and I could go into even search tools and actually put in any kind of criteria to find something, narrow it down. So apparently none of my requests have, none of the ones with flags have attachments on them. Okay, but use this toolbar because it lets you have a little bit more control over what I'm looking for. Hopefully you can find it faster because of that toolbar. So I'll close out of that search. Anybody using that toolbar already, the search toolbar? Because I know you know how to type in search. I'm not telling you how to do that. That should be a given. And you guys know how to Google, you know how to do this. So we don't need to talk about that all the time, Danielle. Okay, perfect. So another thing in terms of working with your inbox. How do we get the numbers down? So I talked a little bit about cleanup. I talked about categorizing and dragging things to your business folder. But really, what is in your inbox? So it's information you want to store because you need to reference it later. So then that I could say that, one of the scenarios is you categorize it. So you know what it's about in more detail, kind of your own category. And then you file it in one of your folders so that, you can find it later. Don't keep it in your inbox. Inbox is not it wasn't called a keep box. I don't know what to do with box. It just landed in your box. It means it came in today or very recently. It should be the numbers should definitely be very low on the inbox. I'm finding people are kind of getting to that these days. Whereas probably 10 years ago, people were like in the thousands and thousands within their inbox, but you want to have a better handle on what's all in here. So one of the things I want to show you with that is that, you can actually take some of these emails, and if there's something that's not a reference, like, okay, I need to keep this because the question is, am I keeping it or deleting it? So that's your first question. And delete is real delete, not fake delete, which is I'm just going to delete and then leave it in my deleted items. That's fake delete. So real delete. And then if I've decided to keep it, am I referencing it later? So let's put a better label on it, categorize it and file it. Or am I going to take some action on it? If you need some action on it, then you have to have a way of knowing there's action on it. So how many of you guys are flaggers? Who are the flaggers out there that flag everything under the sun? I just have to put my flag thing back on here because I took it off earlier. Oops. For some reason my flaggers all the time. Jesse, help me out here. Why is, oh, I'm picking the wrong one. I'm picking the, no, that's the wrong one. Isn't it flag status? Isn't that the flag one?
Yeah, I think so.
I took it off.
Yeah, I think you deselected it.
Should be able to drag it on here.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Okay, your computer person's having trouble. I'll figure out what's going on. I don't know why. Should literally be able to drag it on there to follow up flag. That is just giving me the word follow up, which I definitely don't want that. Anybody knows the answer? You're learning something else about how to organize your columns. I don't know why it's not working. But I've only got like 3 minutes left, so I'm not going to worry about that right now. So it actually is kind of there. If you notice as I hover around stuff that you can kind of see a flag. So if I decide this thing for Jesse, I want to flag, I can just click on it. But the only problem is I can't see the column. That's what, oh shoot. Hey, I shouldn't have got rid of that column. I'll have to figure out what went wrong with that, but it is making it yellow. So just know that anything in yellow is flagged. Sorry guys, I don't know why mine's not working. We'll figure it out.
Under view and then add columns. In the center.
Yeah.
Flag status.
Which is what I was choosing from the chooser, but okay. Yeah, okay, thank you. I don't know why I wouldn't field chooser give that. Oh well. This is why you call the IT guy. Good example. Okay, so we're flagging stuff. That is one way to certainly have something kind of draw your attention. But the big thing about flags is that they shouldn't be increasing to 3 digits for you. Like you need to flag and unflag. You need to be able to organize your flags. You need to be able to use that search and say, you know, as Jesse was talking about, I only want to work on my customer requests. Well, which of them have flags? So I'm going to look at my customer requests, my flags, and then those are the ones I know I need to work on right away. So that could be a strategy, but you shouldn't just flag everything. Oh, this could be important. That could be important. If it's important, why is it important? Is it reference? Categorize it, file it, don't flag it. Flag it could be helpful if you just minimize the amount of flags you have. So another take on this though, is that I don't have to flag something. If I know I want to work on something, maybe I want to get back to Jesse about the webinar for the next month. I can drag this email and throw it into my calendar. And sorry, it just popped up on the other screen here. And this can make an appointment for me. So maybe Jesse and I call Jesse about webinar. So then I can, so it's kind of like a meeting request. I suppose I can actually invite him to this meeting if I want, or maybe I'm just working on this, prep for this webinar. So this then goes into my calendar. So now it's helping me to organize some time to work on this email, prep for this, presentation that I have to do. So that's one idea. The other one is take an email. I'm going to take this one, the newsletter from the chamber. And let's say I have to sign up for a course or inquire about one of the trade show they have coming up. I can drag that email over to tasks down. So I'm going to the bottom here, by the way. And then I can say sign up for Expo newsletter. So I'm making myself a task. And so now that will be beside my calendar and also in Outlook task list. How many of you guys are using tasks in Outlook? That's usually the number one thing people do not use. Anybody using tasks? Oh, Daniel's using everything.
Yeah.
What are you doing here, Daniel?
Yeah, we got to get her to teach the course.
Okay. Yeah, she can do next week's. Okay, so yeah, the thing about tasks is I can actually take, so let me go to, let's go to the chat, let's go to the chamber one. I'm going to the chamber one. So let's say all of these emails from the chamber, Shelly sent me all this stuff. I need to really review it and then prepare for my next meeting because I'm on the board with them. So I can grab all of these emails, drag them to tasks, and make one task that has all the emails inside. Right now, the only problem with this method is it's not giving me the attachment. So I'm going to I just wanted to show you this though. It's very cool because it's a way for you, you have 7 people that gave their opinion about how you should do the presentation, throw all those emails into one task. You can see all their opinions rather than having to open each one or print it off. I'm not sure how you read 7 emails at one time, but this is definitely a way to do it. It's just drag it into the task. Let's go out of here. I've got no seconds left, but I'm going to just show you this anyways. We're going to right click and drag. How many of you guys have right clicked and dragged before? This is not a normal thing. Right click and drag 2 tasks. Right clicking always gives you another menu. In case you didn't know that, I'm sure you did, but right click and drag is not a normal one. Copy here with tasks. Don't use move. Don't call Jesse or me about anything you lost if you use move. We're taking no responsibility for that. Use copy. Copy is safer. Okay, yes, I want 5 items. And then all the emails from Shelly are now in here, and I can say review chamber emails. And now they're ready for me to work on tomorrow in my task list. We're done. Okay, so yeah, so I do have more to talk about, but we're done this first time. So Jesse, I think I went overtime, so we're supposed to stop at 25.
You know what? I opened my other meeting and they haven't joined yet, so I'm still chatting with you, which is good. I have a question, a challenge to throw at you, because one of the things that I've always wanted to do, and I have no idea if you can do this in Outlook, but I open an email, I read it, and I say, okay, I want to have maybe some comments on the side about what I'm thinking about on this. Is there any way to do that other than maybe putting it in a task?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
So you're like saying I have an email from somebody and I want to just some of this stuff I can't really open.
Yeah.
I'll
open that one.
Just open up one from you. So
to add comments that are not necessarily being sent to as an email to you, but
not that. That's one thing I've never done, and I'm pretty sure there is.
I know we got to get Microsoft to add that in. But anyways,
well, hang on there. No, you don't, because you don't want to be living in your email. We need to explore. True. There's so much more. Yeah. So, I mean, we just introduced a few people probably today to the calendar and tasks in terms of how they can work with emails. So put your hand up if you're going to do that now. But the other thing I want you to know is, I mean, you've got a whole toolbox full of other features or other programs like OneNote and Planner and Teams and OneDrive. But OneNote is the big one, I would say, is your biggest key to success in terms of controlling your inbox. You give up your inbox way more, and you get way more control over it if you start using OneNote, and in a way that works with everybody in the office. So.
Yes.
We'll talk about OneNote next, but yeah.
I was going to say, I think that's our next one, right?
I have no idea. I just said that.
Yes. Why you should use OneNote more and email less on April 21st.
Okay, I transitioned without even knowing it.
Beautiful. All right. Does anybody on the call have any questions that they would like to ask Connie and I while we're all here together? Yes, Danielle, we'll see you on the next one. Can't wait to give you a couple more tips. I've taken a little screenshot of the comments here, because so many of you have just been like eyes wide open here about 1 or 2 things.
Yeah, and this is half an hour. I mean, I teach this kind of stuff for 3 hours minimum. Sometimes I'll go a whole day, and I know people go like, "Why am I taking a whole day of Outlook?" Well, because
Yeah.
you didn't even know half an hour's worth of stuff. So no, I'm not saying that to you guys, but I mean, people don't know what they don't know, and there's just so much to it, and it's beyond the toolbars. It's also a fresh perspective on how to look at it and how it intertwines with other systems too. So.
And that's a perfect segue as well, is that Connie has a business called Mission Computers, where she has live training, she has remote training, she has online video training, specifically to dig deep on all of these things. And part of the reason that she's here is because we have a great relationship with her and we help each other out. But of course, it's also for her to expand her exposure to you and your business. And so if you think that you or the people on your team would benefit from a more in-depth training session on Microsoft Outlook, you can call Connie and look at this live animation.
There you go. Not very classy, but I was just like, I don't have my name on a slide right now, and I don't have the time to but that'll work. Yeah.
Awesome.
Or contact Jesse. He knows who I am. So
yeah, exactly.
Anyway. But yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one.
Yes, I want to thank you so much for taking the time and coming and helping us with this. To everybody that's on the call, I am going to take this recording and share it out through our newsletter, so we'll get it out there as well. But if you have any questions, please reach out to us and we will do all that we can to help.
You
all
bet.
right. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.